everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are safe, you are well, and you are with someone you care about who also cares for you. Wow, we're in July now. How about that? We're more than halfway through this year. Thank goodness. Thank you all for your kind comments for last week's Sunday Musing and what EV independence means for you. I hope that whether you were celebrating Independence Day, whether you were celebrating Canada Day, you all had a good day. I had a good break. I got some stuff done that I wanted to get done, some stuff I didn't get done that I wanted to get done. That's always the way. I did successfully finish my machining of my vice grip holder thing, I suppose an adapter plate, on my Carvera Air, and I felt very accomplished when I finally figured out how to do that machining and get it done. But there's a lot of stuff ahead of me that I still need to do in order to get that ready, in order to be able to work on the various projects that I want to work on with that. So watch this space. But today's Sunday Musing is going to be focused on something that's been in the news a little bit, and that is the Fiat Topolino. It's just gone on sale in the UK. It's just gone on sale in the US. And I have questions. So for those who don't know, the Topolino is basically a Stellantis quadricycle. All of the other Stellantis brands, so Opel, Vauxhall, Peugeot and Citroën, they all have a variant of this vehicle. They all have different names. But the Fiat one is called the Fiat Topolino. Sorry, someone was just biting me on the back of my neck because it's that time of year. And the Topolino has a very limited top speed. It's about just under 30 miles an hour in the UK. In the US, it's limited to 19 miles an hour, and I will come to that in a second. But in the UK and in Europe more broadly, they have these light and heavy quadricycle rules. So it's a vehicle that will meet certain criteria, can be allowed on the roads with less crash testing than a full-size vehicle would have, than a full speed capable vehicle would have. And quadricycles are kind of this quirk of European law that came into being partly because of the French and their voiture sans permis class that they have, where they basically said that cars under a certain size could be driven without a license. And other countries in Europe have similar rules. But it's kind of grown now that light and heavy quadricycles, while I think for a while they still sold little diesel 8XM, two-stroke diesel engine 8XMs. I don't know if they still sell them, but the electric EVs, they all have these like tiny little battery packs, tiny little motors. When it comes to specs, I think that the Topolino has a battery capacity of 5.5 kilowatt hours, and it has a range of about 46 to 50 miles depending on how hard you drive it. And my question to you today is, but yes, would you buy one of those if they were available where you live? Or maybe you do live somewhere where they're available, and then would you buy one instead of buying a full-size EV? Or maybe would you buy one as a supplement to your EV? Now, obviously here in the US, there isn't in most states a classification that these vehicles kind of just slot into. And the only classification that really accommodates them in any way, shape or form is the neighborhood electric vehicle or low speed vehicle classifications. And think golf carts basically. And in many regards, a lot of these low-speed electric vehicles are used on private property. So you will sometimes see them if you travel to like a film set, you'll see them driving around. If you go to a retirement community, you might see them driving around. There's a couple of towns, I think one of them's in Georgia, where they actually have two separate road systems, one for the golf carts and one for full-size cars, and the two systems are separate. And the Topolino right now is not even compliant enough to be classed as a low-speed vehicle or a neighbourhood electric vehicle. So currently they can't be driven on the roads full stop. And they have an asking price of $14,000 US, which seems ridiculously expensive until you look up the price that some companies are charging for these little low-speed neighbourhood electric vehicles. And some of them are going for sale for like 20, 30, 40 grand if the high-end ones with the air conditioning and all that. Of course, the Topolino doesn't have all of those things. But I'm curious as to if you would buy a low-speed neighbourhood electric vehicle if it was a right price and met your needs and you live somewhere where you didn't need a full-size EV all the time or you didn't need a full-size vehicle all the time. Now, Fiat seems to think there's a market for this. Good on Fiat. It's retro-styled, so I think it's going to be marketed more towards kind of like people who want to have beach vehicles, who want to take them to the beach. Obviously, they're going to be a lot lighter than a full-size EV. So there's that going for them. I have a suspicion in about 5 or 10 years' time, there's going to be a whole bunch of these just gathering dust in people's holiday homes and whatnot. And therefore, you can kind of guess that I think this is probably going to be a high cost item for very rich people. And they'll have it for a year or two and then they'll get bored. So for us regular proles, I think we just need to stick around for another couple of years and then maybe get one dirt cheap and learn to work on it ourselves. But look, I used to have a Renault Twizy. I used to have a City L. So I'm very much a fan of small, compact bubble cars. I used to have a G-Wiz. I used to have a smart car. I've owned all of those cars. And for me, there's definitely appeal to a small, lower speed EV. I think that my Twizy was perfect. It had a top speed of about 52 miles per hour. People hacked them so that they do 70. I didn't actually de-restrict mine. I just got it to 70 one day, driving it down a really steep hill. But it was incredible to drive because of its design. You know, the wheels were outside the body of the vehicle. And it was like a little go-kart and you could go at 50 miles an hour around a roundabout and it was just smiley. You just smiled all the way around the roundabout and all the way down the road as you were driving it. But I question whether these vehicles like Fiat's selling right now in the US are actually going to be taken seriously, or if it's just going to be used by those in certain political spheres. I'm being good. You know what I mean? Certain political spheres to turn around and go, look, EVs are stupid and they are terrible and they are slow and they are boring. Oh, we should ban EVs or whatever. That is my fear, that it will be used as ammunition for those who don't want to see EVs succeed, despite having all of these great full-size, mid-size, compact, whatever, EVs that are highway capable and can go, a couple of 100 miles and charge really well. People will always find a way of to validate their own opinions. How about that? So let me know down below. Do you think these EVs are going to catch on? Would you get one if you had the money, if it fitted your needs? Or are you someone who's like, no, I want to have a full-size car, thank you very much. Very interesting discussions this week I've been having on the F-150 Lightning owners forum, because a lot of Lightning owners are looking at the new Ford $30,000 EV, the one that we think is all going to be called, what's it going to be called? The Ranchero. And a lot of people are going, oh, it's tiny, it's horrible, it's not going to work. And I'm like, no, American vehicles are too big. American pickup trucks are too big. And I say that as someone with a big ass American pickup truck. But they're too big. And we need smaller vehicles. And so something like the Fiat Topolino would be perfect. Anyway, I've prattled on long enough about this, so let me know your thoughts in the down below. Before I get into thanking all of these amazing people scrolling by on your screen right now, although I just did, so I guess I've just done that bit. I also want to thank those of you who stood up and helped us out last month. It's been about a month since my beloved lost her job, and it's been about a month since we started panicking about the future of our house here, but also the financial future of the channel. As I explained many times in the last month. My wife's income paid the mortgage. The income we got from Transport Evolved helped pay for mainly Transport Evolved's costs, the tax bills, paying the staff, paying for health insurance and all that stuff. And with my wife losing her job, we were in a difficult position, but many of you stood up and helped out. And several of you have sent sizable donations to us. Many of you sent sizable donations personally addressed to me instead of Transport Evolved. I want you to know that those donations were put into Transport Evolved's account because I want to make sure that I do everything above board and I'm honest. And but I am very grateful to every single person who has donated because it really has made a big difference. I can't put it into words. I entered this year ready to quit Transport Evolved and I was contemplating it, and you've all given me a reason to rethink my priorities. So, thank you. And wherever you are and whoever you love, you rock. So, until next week, I hope that you tell the people who are important to you that they are important to you. Thank you for being the wonderful change we need to see in the world. And until next time, keep evolving.